mine. I work for First Five, Alameda County. We started the Fathers Corps back in 2013. We wanted to create space for a very intentional and unapologetic focus on supporting and advocating on behalf of fathers and father figures. While we are focused on supporting and engaging dads, we, as a program, as an organization, obviously respect and honor all parents. With that said, this work is definitely focused on supporting and engaging the needs of fathers and father figures. So today, what we're hoping to get out of this, what I'm hoping that you guys get out of this, is a clear understanding of kind of a little bit of the history of the Fathers Corps, but also the different ways that you can engage with the Fathers Corps over the next year, 9 months really. This is our 9th year of programming. Some of you guys have been here from day one, like myself. It's really hard to believe that we are launching our 9th year. So it seems like we were just up on Skyline Boulevard celebrating our 5-year anniversary. Many of you were there for that as well. We will get to a point, hopefully, where we can come back together and be in person. I know a lot of relationships are built and cultivated with in-person meetings and trainings. But one thing that the pandemic has shown me is that virtual programming works. So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining us. Dara, do you want to say a little bit? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. I'm so happy to see all of you. I feel like I haven't seen you in months, and that is true. But it's good to see all of you this morning. I'm Dara. I'm one of the consultants assisting Kevin with the Father Corps.
Thanks, Dara. So many of you who have been here from the beginning, if you remember, we used to do a lot of networking. Part of the success of the Fathers Corps was our networking and the relationships that were built and fostered in that conference room every third Friday of the month. And so I want to come back to that. Last year, we were spending a lot of time just on getting our sea legs and adjusting to doing business virtually. And I wanted to bring us back to getting to know each other, supporting each other, learning about the different resources that are in the room. And so our first icebreaker is going to be getting to know you. Before we do that, here's our agenda for the day. We're going to do our welcome in the breakout rooms. Some of our virtual reminders, we'll go through that really quickly. The work of the Fathers Corps is really rooted in highlighting the true narrative of fatherhood. I think there's a narrative out there of fathers and father figures that isn't the most positive and isn't the most accurate. So our work is rooted in the true narrative, highlighting the true narrative. I'm going to give you some background on the Fathers Corps. Provide some time for us to discuss and reflect on what your relationship with the Fathers Corps will be moving forward. Talk about what are your plans, provide some Fathers Corps updates, and then get out of here. Here's some virtual reminders. If you can, please click on the 3 dots on your screen and change your name, add your first and last name and your organization so we know who's who and from where. Mute yourself when you are not speaking. Please unmute yourself when you are. Obviously, use the chat for messages to the group, or if anything resonates with you, feel free to type it into the chat. If you have questions, you can use the chat as well. Dara and Virve will be monitoring that. Use the raise hand feature or the thumbs up or the clap or the love. Ooh, that's 2 E's, sorry, lovey. And then journal to capture some of the learning and reflections. So right now we're going to get into our breakout rooms. We want you to get to know the folks that are part of this cohort. We want you to look to each other as resources and utilize the resources that are in this room. So when we go into our breakouts, it's going to be 10 minutes. Each person has 3 minutes. We want your name, your organization, and describe the core services that you provide to fathers specifically, if you serve fathers specifically. If you don't serve fathers specifically, describe your core services that you provide to families. All right, remember, each person gets 3 minutes. There's going to be 3 of you in each room. And so please share the floor and respond to these questions. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Dara will put the questions in the chat if she has not already. Mr. Potts. And if you could just please, once you see the prompt to join the breakout, please click join. Virve, I'm not going to be in one, so can you please adjust that?
Yeah.
Thanks. Uh-oh, looks like there are a lot of people.
Yeah, hold on. 1 second.
Pardon the technical difficulties. Give us 1
Yes,
second.
today we're having that. Dara, do you think you can close it?
You have it set where you give them a minute. So we're waiting for the minutes to finish.
I'm trying.
So 20 seconds.
Oh, it's gonna close in 14 seconds. Okay.
Right. So there's like 30 people on. So that'll be like 10 rooms. Hey, Darren, how are you?
This is Darren. My phone rang and I
Okay.
answered and I got kicked out of my room.
We
problem.
we had some issues anyway. There are only supposed to be 3 people in each room.
Okay.
So we're going to put you guys back into your room. Sorry about that.
Yes, there we go. We're gonna redo it.
All right, so I have it and I'm going to recreate it now. So sorry about that, everybody.
Name, organization, and describe your core services that you provide to fathers specifically. If you don't serve fathers, describe your core services that you provide to families. Those questions are in the chat. Dara, can you make sure room 8 has 3 people? Because since I'm not in it.
Oh, okay. Let me move. I'll move. She didn't join yet.
That's me, Alma.
Hey, Alma.
Hi. Is it okay if I don't join the room?
That's fine. What room is this thing you're in? Oh,
8 as well.
let me just move
Robert, yeah.
to room 11.
Thank you.
No problem. So we have a couple of rooms with 4.
That's fine. Looks like Michelle Levy didn't join.
Yeah, I think she's still trying to connect with her audio.
Okay.
I think everybody has joined now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
I had to do some quick math.
Hey, Kevin.
Julie, what's up?
Hey, can I make a real exciting announcement at one point?
Please, yes. Absolutely.
I'm excited about this announcement.
I'm all for exciting announcements.
Especially right now.
Especially
I
right
heard
now.
that. I'm excited too. I'm excited too.
Especially from Family Pass. You guys are rock stars.
Well, you're gonna like this one.
I'm sure. I'm excited to hear.
Love this one.
I'm excited to hear.
So just let me know when it's cool, and I'll say
we can do it right now, right before we go into our next video. So really quick, I'm going to turn the floor over to Julie from Family Pass. Before I do that, I just want to say Family Pass has been the model partner. When we started this work back in 2013, we could only dream of a partner like Family Pass who really just took on the fatherhood work and embedded it into their program models and their strategic plan. And they have just been a joy to work with. And Julie has an exciting announcement that she wants to make. So please, Julie, the floor is yours.
So thank you, Kevin, for your kind words too. And I mean, we're just really lucky because all of my parent educators now are from the Corps: Juan Cuba, Otis Ward, and Michael Lewis. And the exciting announcement I have is that Otis Ward is going to be becoming a part of our management team. Otis is now going to become on full-time. He's going to be a part of our management team. He's going to be representing here in the partnership as well. He's going to be our manager of outreach, and this is going to be one of his core. Yeah, I'm really excited about that, full-time as a manager. So give him a. We're excited.
All right, congratulations, Otis.
Congratulations, Otis. Otis joined us probably about 4 or 5 years ago at this point. He's been a core member of the Father's Corps, shows up to everything, contributes to our mission. Julie reached out to us probably about 3 years ago looking for some male providers to lead her father's groups, and not only her father's groups, but some of their parenting groups over at Family Paths. I sent it out to our network, and you just heard what's been happening since then. So
so we're really excited that Otis, we actually he had applied, we created the position. We found a way to strategically do that, bring him on board as a full-time part of our senior leadership team. So excited things are going to be happening.
That's great. That's great, Julie. And for everyone who's on the line, if you're looking for, we preach the importance of having men in front of the room when you are leading not only parenting groups, but obviously father-specific groups. Over the years, we have built a network of over 100 guys. So if you're looking for men to facilitate some of these programs, whether it be lead outreach, whether it be lead groups, whatever it may be. If you're looking for male staff, we have a network of very highly skilled and professional men to pull from. So please feel free at any time if you have job announcements that you want to make sure that get in front of male providers to send them to us, and we will send them out. So Julie, thanks for that announcement. Otis, congratulations, brother.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to a video right now. Like I said, the work of the Father's Corps is really rooted in highlighting the true narrative of fathers. And I just want to share this video. Some of you have seen it before. This brother, Prentice Powell, he was one of our featured main stage spoken word artists at our 2019 Fatherhood Summit. This was him on the Arsenio Hall show. Let me make sure I am.
Arsenio, I'm tired of us always having to prove our love to our sons. One of the biggest compliments I get a lot of times is how great of a father I am. You see pictures on the internet. People compliment you a lot because they see photos. And honestly, sometimes I want to tell people, don't tell me I'm a good father when you don't know anything about me. Fun-loving daddy and son pictures on a Facebook page do not equate to instilling values into your child's development. And the fact that I'm Black should be irrelevant when it comes to my ability to raise my son. My skin tone should not make me any better or worse when it comes to the paternal instinct. But because fathers like me are apparently extinct, I get extra praise. And for what? For doing what I'm supposed to do. From strangers. Strangers who don't know, when my son was born, I only got him from 12 noon on Saturdays to 5 p.m. on Sundays, went to the court to get more time, came back with 12 noon on Saturdays to 5 p.m. on Sundays, plus child support, fought for a year, had him for a year and a half, if not more, had him 50% of the time, if not more, only to lose him when he started school to summertime and rotating holidays. So when you see me in the streets with my little one and want to say, it's so good seeing the father doing his job, spending that quality time, don't, because I ain't being robbed. Robbed of the greatest gift. Forced to live through pictures on an iPhone to recognize the touch of my lips more than they do my fingertips. And the smell of his lotion every day I rub into my skin, so when I smell myself, I think of him. Forced to live through memories that occur within the span of 1 week. Through occasional webcam chats with a child too young to speak back, so when he reaches for you through that camera, all you can say is, son, I miss you too. Or watching your son learn how to ride a bike via Skype at the hands of another man, and even though he is a good man and you are glad he's around, that man is not you. And not letting his mother know that all this is getting to you, so you get up to grab some tissue because at all times, that distance of 3,117.4 miles can feel more like 3 million. Try dropping your son off at the airport with 3 teeth in his mouth, go 4 weeks without him, watch him come back with 5, and see if you don't beat yourself up for not being around during that time. So don't tell me I'm a good father when you don't know anything about me. Try to convince a person that knows nothing about you that you are simply worthy of time. See thousands of people inspired by your story, but still feel that you are getting nowhere. Have people motivated by the pain that sits right here every day inside of your chest, and that same pain being a reflection of the amount of love that you possess. I want you to imagine your newborn baby sleep. You're watching them. Try to get his sleep patterns down pat, praying to God you get it right, because you have 1 night and have to go 6 days until you get him back. Imagine being able to fly through this world, doing what you love to do, but because of a court order, your son before the age of 1 has to fly twice a month, which may mean by the age of 2, he'll have more frequent flyer miles than you. Try never spending a day in your life locked up in prison and still watch your child grow up primarily through photos. Learn about his milestones via text message or Facebook and see if you don't feel numb. So how can I smile when people tell me I'm such a good father when I feel like I'm not giving enough time to actually be one? Raise your son without feeling like you're actually raising him. And I know everything in this world doesn't go the way we plan. I can accept that. All that's fine. I just don't understand how a man can be forced to pay half of daycare, half of medical expenses, food, clothes, water, but the same man that laid down to create that child is not automatically given half of the time. Something about that situation is not right. And when I'm done with this poem, I mean this. I don't care if any of you clap. I just want my praise, my kudos, my air, my earth, my water, my drive, my moon, my sun, my baby, my motivation, my fun. I just want my chance. I just want my son, Justice Prentice Powell. I want my baby back. Thank you.
So I've seen this video probably 50 or 60 times at this point. And every time it is moving, it's jarring. And doing this work over the past 9 years, this is the story of a lot of dads. And so in our next breakout room, I want you guys to think about, what if this was your narrative? What if this was how we thought about dads? What if this is how we felt about dads and their feelings towards their kids? And I want you guys to reflect on and discuss, what would your staff look like if this is what we thought about dads? If this was our organizational narrative of fathers and fatherhood? What would your budgets look like? What would your programs look and feel like for parents and fathers specifically? And so Dara will put these questions in the chat. We're going to give you about 10 minutes to have this discussion because we are running short on time. But again, what would your programs, budgets, staff look like if this was our narrative of fathers? And I think we can go in the breakout room.
Okay, I'm putting everybody in a breakout room now.
Darren, I'll get to your question in just a second. I see you got your hand up. I just saw that. We have time for a few report outs. So does anyone want to share a little bit about what you guys talked about as far as what your, if this was your organizational narrative, or if this was your personal narrative of fatherhood, what would your staff look like? What would your budgets look like? And how would your programs feel and look? Do we have any volunteers to share?
I'll volunteer.
Go ahead, Harold.
Out of our group,
I think we all agreed that we would really try to increase our population of diverse fathers of color, with a focus being on African American males. We would like to see it throughout our program in various agencies, not only from the management level, administrative level, but all the way down into the classroom. We know that there can be challenges there with men feeling accepted into the classroom environment. Could be some budgetary matters, but we also discussed the possibility of trying to recruit men of color just to come in on a voluntary basis. You know, just emphasizing some time is better than no time.
Mhm.
So even if you had 10 or 15 minutes, the impact that it can have on young children at this age would be extremely beneficial. In terms of budget, I think we all agreed that we would try to have a set aside budget for fathers and father figures.
Mhm. Thanks, Harold. Diverse staff, getting more dads in the classroom, getting more men into the classroom, and dedicated budget for fatherhood services. Thanks for that. Anybody else want to report out?
Yeah, Kev, I'll go ahead. I think we had some similar thoughts, as we would definitely want our providers to have to be some people that the fathers could relate to. So obviously a father maybe be from the same areas, maybe have gone through the similar situations, but relatability, I think, is one that we all identified as something that is crucial for this work in particular, as you know, a lot of out that maybe don't look like us or sound like us, and so us understanding, I think we all agreed on that. And then just a side note, it was good to see that piece from Prentice, because as a friend of Prentice's, I know that his son just moved in with him. The son that he made that poem about just recently moved in with him full time. So
Nice.
it was good to remember that piece, and then to see where he was at now. He was able to complete that mission. So that was a good good conversation.
Nice. That's a great update. Thanks, Kareem. Julie, I think you wanted to go next.
Yeah, so everything everybody said, and kind of what we're doing now, we want to see fathers represented at every level, management level, senior management. That's what we're doing now. One of the areas that we would love to, and we hope to gain, is getting some more mental health clinicians that are males and fathers specifically. What our budgets, like what everybody else says, we're really trying to write in fatherhood on all of our contracts, and really, diligently have a pot for fathers for what they need. Yeah, I guess that's it. We really want fathers to be represented, even in the aesthetics of the agency, so that it's a normal thing. We want it to be a part of the norm, the culture, and that fathers look like the communities that we serve, and come from the spaces that we serve. That's so important. And I know, having all of my team being from the Father's Court, our classes are always, they do well because of these guys, you know what I mean? Because they can relate to them. So that's probably one of our biggest learning curves. We did try doing adding a female to our fatherhood component as a empowerment coach, and a couple of fathers did do it, but the feedback was they probably would have done it, participated more had it been a dad. So they end up just talking to our fathers, our fatherhood specialists. So
Thanks, Julie. Representation is important. We got time for one more person if someone would like to share. Harold, looks like you have your hand up.
Yeah, we took this a step a little farther because we just briefly explored and got into the rationale of not having fathers and father figures more involved. And, as I was expressing within the group, we have so many people that are providing an array of social services and have a wealth of knowledge regarding the impact when the father is absent and how it can impact outcomes for young children. So the question became, why are not our agencies trying to actively recruit fathers to be actively involved in their child's educational experience, even on a voluntary basis. So that really took off.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few thoughts on why not. I think one of them is, in doing this work, what we've seen is it has been a blind spot for a lot of organizations. First five, before we started this work, we had no father-centered services. We made no father-centered funding available to organizations. And our organization is focused on improving the lives of children and caregivers of children birth to 5 years old. So for 15 years we are in existence, we didn't have any, we left out half the family, or in some families, the entire family, you know? And so it is an oversight. One of the other reasons is we historically, early childhood has always been focused on supporting mom and child. And so part of the work, this work of the Father's Corps is rooted in changing that system. And bringing fathers out of the shadows into the light, because dads are there. Dads who aren't there for the most part want to be, and our programs and services aren't set up or staffed or budgeted to serve and support the needs of fathers. So that's why this work is so important. And I want to challenge all of us that are on this call today to go back to your home agencies and start making some of this stuff a reality. Identify what is free and low cost that you can do tomorrow to engage and support fathers, and start some of that work and start some of those conversations now. That's the work of the Father's Corps. That is why Julie has had so much success at Family Paths, Union City. There are a lot of organizations that have, you know, this wasn't on their radar initially, and now they are doing some really, really great work. So I appreciate you guys, but again, I challenge us all to take some of these discussions back to our home organizations and make some of this stuff real. Kelvin, I'm gonna leave the last word to you, and then we're gonna get back to our slide deck. Kelvin.
It's real quick. I was just curious about the guy who was on that video. Is he the same guy that did that spoken word, knock knock?
That is, yep.
That's him. Okay, yeah. So he's got his own son now.
I don't know.
Video about knock knock.
I remember knock knock. I don't remember if that was Prince.
That's not the same guy.
Okay.
That's not the same guy.
Okay.
All right. Sounded like a lot of the way he talked.
Yeah.
I like him. That's all.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kelvin.
Because that's that father wound you hear in both of them.
Right. Right. All right. Of course. We're gonna get back to the slide deck. All right, the Father's Corps was established in 2013. We are a collaborative initiative funded and led by First Five Alameda County and Alameda County's Healthcare Services Agency and Social Services Agency. We began with a learning community of male service providers, very intentionally and unapologetically focused on engaging and supporting and building the capacity to serve fathers and father figures. Our work falls into three very distinct categories: systems change. We're trying to create a father-friendly system of care and support. Capacity building the capacity of the providers who work within these systems to effectively serve and support the needs of fathers. Research and assessment. So we want to engage dads and learn from them what it is that they need, how we can better support them. And then assessment. Also, we want to assess our own programs to determine how father-friendly those programs are or are not. We got another video talking about this is what the Father's Corps is.
To me, the Father's Corps is a wonderful organization that's doing effective and needed work.
To me, the Father's Corps is...
To me, the Father's Corps is collaborative. Systems change.
A systems change initiative.
To me,
the Father's Corps...
The Father Corps is
a capacity building effort and change effort.
Important and needed.
Makes me a better in-person provider.
To me, the Father's Core is a community of men.
To me, the Father Core is revolutionary.
To me, the Father's Core is a movement.
To me, the Father's Core is all about lifting up fathers and father figures so that they can be the best parents that they possibly can be.
The Father's Core is my passion. We want to do our best to support families, and that's what this work is about. All right, part of the success of the Father's Core was rooted in those first 5 years of convening men on a monthly basis, providing opportunities to network and support each other, build relationships, and start programs. I mean, there were actual programs that were born out of those meetings, those monthly meetings in the first 5 years. We are a professional learning community. While we don't mind you dropping in for a training here or there, what we would really prefer is that you connect with us and commit to being a part of the Father's Core. And that means showing up as much as you can. That means going back to your home organizations and talking about the need to engage and support fathers and father figures. That means going back to your home agencies and starting some father-specific programming, going back to your home organizations and applying for funding for father-specific programming. So connection and commitment to learning about and advocating for fathers is being an active member of the Father's Core. We will provide space to have reflective dialogue, which you've already experienced some today. It is a space to collaborate. Like I said, if you are a staff of all women and you're looking to start a fatherhood program, this is the place where you can find a dad or father, a man, to lead some of these groups that you're looking to start. And then shared values and norms around connecting and committing to advocating for fathers and father figures. These are our 2021 and 2022 Father's Core capacity building opportunities, the Father Friendly Provider Network, our dad discussions, and our Fatherhood Partnership. And I'll go into a little bit more about that. And I don't know if you guys noticed, these are our new images. We just uploaded about 100 new fatherhood images into our Diversity of Fatherhood photo bank. The Father Friendly Provider Network is about understanding and supporting the needs of fathers. So building your muscle, providing trainings on father-specific topics, effective engagement, building your capacity to effectively engage and support fathers. Also, this work, co-parenting is something that comes up literally every day, if not multiple times a day. In our work with fathers and father figures. So we're looking to expand our work around cultivating healthy co-parenting relationships, and then also the implementation of the father-friendly principles. And lastly, but probably the most important, is providing space to reflect on your own relationship with your father, with men in your life, to ensure that those experiences don't negatively impact your engagement and support of families. Here's our training calendar for the Father Friendly Provider Network. All of our trainings this year will continue to be on Zoom. Hopefully one day we will be able to go back to in-person meetings. Although with that said, I don't think we will ever go back to meeting in person every single time, just because these trainings are more accessible when they're done virtually. But we do understand that relationships are built in person when you can see someone. So we will provide space once it's safe to do so. But these are our training calendar. This is our training calendar for the Father Friendly Provider Network. Any questions about the Father Friendly Provider Network? No? Okay. I'll move on. Dad discussions, we started back in April, hard to believe, April of 2020. It was in direct response to the pandemic and the shelter in place order. We felt like dads were having a different experience when we went to sheltering in place. A lot of dads don't live with their children. And so when that shelter in place order came in, that we wanted to provide space for dads to come together safely on a virtual platform and talk about topics that are important to them. This is a direct service for dads. Everyone is welcome. Allies, father figures, and mentors are welcome. With that said, this is really focused on engaging and supporting fathers themselves. So if you have fathers, this is a place that you're working with. If you have fathers, you can direct them to dad discussions. We convene this group on a monthly basis, the fourth Thursday of every month. We have guest speakers. We provide breakout rooms for them to talk again. This month, September 23rd, we're celebrating Latinx Heritage Month. So this is our flyer for that. Dara, I believe you're going to put the link to register for that in the chat.
Yes.
So please feel free to share that link with your clients, or if you want to join yourself, you can be a part of that. It provides an opportunity to discuss father-centered topics, provides opportunities for dads to talk about the joys and challenges of fatherhood, and it provides opportunities for providers to see virtual fathers groups in action. So if you're looking to start a virtual fathers group, you can come here and see how it's done and how it works. Any questions about dad discussions? I can't see any hands, so if there are any hands, Derek, can you please let me know? No questions. So we also have our Fatherhood Partnership. We've been doing this. This is our 4th year of the Fatherhood Partnership. Last year was our first time being able to offer very small mini grants to 8 organizations to offer father-specific parenting education and support groups. So even if you're not a grant recipient, but you're interested in starting a fathers group, this is the group that you should be a part of. It's laser focused on building the capacity of agencies to offer father-specific virtual parenting education and support groups. We ask that you send 2 to 3 staff. The most important person that needs to be part of this group, if you're starting groups, is the facilitator. So the guy that is going to be in front of the room or leading these groups is the person who should be part of these, the Fatherhood Partnership. And it requires participating agencies to launch groups by, it's going to be January this year. For our 8 grant recipients last year, it does look like we are going to be able to significantly increase the amount of funding that we provided, that we will provide this year. So stay tuned. We're still ironing out the details on that. But again, stay engaged with the partnership, but that funding will increase. And I'm going to go, this is hot off the presses, a quick video about the Fatherhood Partnership. And some of you guys who are running groups, who are mini grant recipients, some of your dads that participated in your fathers groups are in this video. And it's not even final yet, but the testimony from the dads themselves was so compelling that I'm just going to share it with you. The Fatherhood Partnership is a program that is focused on building the capacity of organizations. We'll let it buffer a little bit.
What, Kevin, when you show that, are you clicking the thing for optimal visual? Don't click that and it'll turn out better.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we had that problem with classes. They told us don't click it, you'll still be able to see it good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that.
It takes more bandwidth.
Thank you for that, Julie. Let's try this again. Organizations to facilitate father-specific parenting. Maybe if I turn off my camera.
It's important to also have a space.
All right, this doesn't look like it's working.
Where dads can kind of relax and feel the ability to connect with the other dad.
All right, I'm gonna stop because this is annoying. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I'll send the link out to you once it's available. That is you'll have an opportunity to hear directly from fathers who participated in these fathers groups. Kelvin, you were one of the many grant recipients. 4Cs and Juan Cuba facilitated some of that. Khalid, I believe you're on. Chris, you're part of the Fathers Corps all the time. Abdi, you provide groups as well. Does anyone want to share a little bit about their experience in those groups, just since we don't have the video? Kelvin, Juan, Sabrina, your groups over at Hayward Unified were amazing. Abdi, I know you've facilitated those. Does anyone want to share a little bit about those groups and how it impacted you as a facilitator, but also the fathers? No.
I can go. Well, my experience as usual is, you know, on a personal level and a professional level, I feel that I always been amazing by the capacity of the participants to reinvent themselves, to look for different ways to become better fathers. One thing that I had to say is sometimes when we, as a community organizations, sometimes it's hard to offer, you know, because in the video that you show first, something that bring to mind is sometimes the lack of resources and information that fathers has. We feel that the system is designed in a way that's against us. And sometimes when we ask for information, when we ask for training, when we ask for, okay, how can I do better? How can I represent myself better? You know, it's interesting that there's no many things around, even within the context of this effort. You know, I send different type of requests for people to come and talk to maybe, you know, what is you know, what a father needs to know about family court, or, you know, things related to, you know, custody. And one and again, sometimes it's really hard to find those type of resources. You know, I can, you know, definitely focus on the good things that came from that, but I think I will do a disservice if I don't mention the things that sometimes we're lacking, you know. So I just want to put that in there.
I appreciate those comments, Juan. And I'm going to put a long-standing Fathers Corps member and leader on the spot here. Chris, you do a great job of identifying some of those services. You've made a connection with folks at Family Court. I believe one of the Family Court judges. You've made connections with mediators that are coming out of Family Court. We also have connections through the Fathers Corps with child support and social services. So I would definitely encourage folks. This year, we're going to do a virtual resource fair, not only in the Father Friendly Provider Network, but also in the Fatherhood Partnership, where we're going to invite all of these different programs to share a little bit about the services that they provide, so that you guys can have access and find out who's available to do what for the groups that you're offering. And when you come into contact with dads and you need support around family court, child support, and some of those other issues that surface on a regular basis. So I definitely strongly encourage you to reach out to Chris. I do it all the time. Chris gets emails from me multiple times a week from folks looking for services, specific services for the dads that they're working with. But we are going to have some of those resources all in the same room for one of our workshops this year for both the Father Friendly Provider Network and also the Fatherhood Partnership. So hopefully we can resolve some of those issues, Juan. But you're right, it is hard. And dads definitely feel like they are going at this journey alone. That's why these groups are so important. Kelvin, looks like you got something you want to add?
Well, you asked for our responses to the mini grants that we received.
Yes.
How those groups went and how they worked out for us.
Yes.
We had a consistency of guys from the Brotherhood of Elders Network, which is an intergenerational network of African-American men. It was founded by Arnold Perkins. I've been a part of it for like 4 or 5 years now. So we had the same guys pretty much for the whole 8 weeks. And what it did for us, it opened up a place of vulnerability. So let's just come to meets and seeing each other and, you know, doing all the things that men do when they come together. It offers a space for us to go deeper and take a deeper dive into some of the stuff that may be concerning as a father, and also the gifts of being a father. I mean, I've seen some of those guys in those sessions break down when it came to certain questions that were asked. So it was a very powerful situation, and we built some really engaging sessions. You know, it wasn't a lot of lecturing. It was mostly interactive, very interactive and very engaging, and a lot of authenticity and vulnerability as well. So I really enjoyed, you know, Kevin, I love this work. This is what I do. This is my ministry. This is what I've been called to do.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking forward to implementing some of the father core training and information into juvenile hall. We're going back to next month in October. So the father thing is huge. Like we keep saying it. This is big, man. This is great that you guys put it together and you still got it going and you're engaging people in the community. This is something that definitely needs to continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you, Kelvin. I appreciate that. Sabrina, we're going to go to you.
Thank you, Kevin. You know, I have Eduardo on the call that's representing as a family engagement specialist. And I just want to say that the work has been extremely important in Hayward Unified. We've been doing this for 12 years, and we actually just had our Million Father March again today.
Today, yes.
Huge
yes
turnout.
yes.
We had some media out there, which was amazing. I think I shouted out First Five and some of the programs, and it's because of you that we've been able to, or First Five and Father Core and all the support, and Chris too, shout out, because when we had no clue what we were doing, Chris would come through, he would help mentor. And it was really because of the grant that we were able to leverage some additional hours for our family engagement specialists to actually be able to continue this work, because it's really difficult without any funding to be able to do this, you know. And I want to just give my utmost thanks to the organization for putting this forward. And it's so amazing to see all of you collectively on this call. And I would love to see how we can, I'm really looking forward to having that maybe conference or again that you had before, and how do we collectively continue to build this partnership, because I know that it's probably taking place in little pockets across our county, and how do we bring it together to support each other? Because even for today, for the Million Father March, it's something we can do, you know, countywide versus just in Hayward Unified. And I really would love to work with Chris to connect with the courts. We do have a district, we have someone in Hayward Unified School District, and he's trying to connect us to the courts, but we know that's a direct link to receiving some referrals. So I really would love to find out how we can do that. And again, shout out to Abdi, to Eduardo, and to John. Without them, we could not do this work. And so, and one strong point I would say for the opportunity last year with the grant was having someone come in and mentor or coach and actually be able to lead. That was critical, because even though we may think we're doing this right, we need someone to come in and give us some advice on how we can do better. And I really appreciate that component of the support.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sabrina. And Chris, your name has been brought up a lot. I would like, if you want, please jump on and just share a little bit about your expertise, the groups, and the Fatherhood Initiative and the services that you provide, because I'm sure we have some folks on the call today that probably are working with some families and could refer some dads over to you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Gibson. I'm with the Alameda County Fatherhood Initiative. Formerly a case manager. I've been recently promoted to a program specialist. Just some of my history. I've started in this work back in 2013. I'm not sure if Ignacio's on, but I do want to shout out my boy Ignacio, who's also worked with the Father's Core. A lot of the things that I do is, as far as when it comes to groups, it's just making the connection with men, right? You have to make that connection with men, have to be able to relate with them. When I took over for Cafe Dad for Alameda County, there were like 2 guys that were participant in it when I took over, and it was consistent. It had took a downfall because the prior guy had left, and so some of the guys had left. Now we're at a consistent 15, 16 guys per session. And I mean, that is fantastic when it comes to men, and all of you guys know that. And just some of the hard work that I have to do, a lot of the things, and we talk about family court, we talk about the connections with judges, a lot of that is straight footwork. I've had to go, and I'll share this experience and I'll let it be alone, and I'll be done with it. The connection that I have with family court mediation, I started for the county June 2017. Immediately, I went to family court mediation. It took me 6 months to get a hold of the manager. I was going in there, I was talking to the front desk person, if you're familiar with family court mediation, and they looked at me and treated me as if I was a dad, right? I had a county badge, I had a county card, and I said, hey, can I speak to a manager? And they was all nonchalant and things like. I did that 4 times. And when I finally talked to the manager in January of 2018, I talked to her and she said she never once got a message. She never once got my card or anything like that. And immediately her and I became very, very close. She's from Los Angeles. She was an LA Raiders fan, so we had a connection there. And we had them actually come in and actually produce a workshop for us. And I'm not sure how many of you guys attended that, but they were able to produce a workshop. And that's the type of work that you're going to have to do to get the resources for your guys, right? I've put on bilingual workshops for immigrant reform and immigrant citizenship. I have done child welfare, CPS workshop, things like that. And a lot of it's just legwork. I go out, I reach out to people, hey, connect me with the person that can do this or can get that. And, I get a lot of help and assistance, and I'm persistent. I'm very persistent at what I want. And so in order to build, you have to put your effort, you have to put your time into it. Same thing with recruiting. You have to put your effort, you have to put your time into it. And success will follow because that's where the work is. Thank you for the time, Kevin.
Thanks, Chris. And for leadership that is on the call today, freeing up your staff to go out and do that legwork is important as well. So I just want to encourage leadership to look at what you can do to support and encourage your staff to go out and make those connections also. Chris, thanks for those comments. And we touch on all of this in the Fatherhood Partnership around outreach to dads, outreach and retention, resources and referrals. There's a lot that we touch on for that in the partnership. Go ahead.
This is Julie, Kevin. I just wanted to put it out there that recently the Asian Health Center, I've been meeting with them, and they're interested now on how we could bring fatherhood to their Chinese and Mandarin speaking fathers. So that's pretty exciting, because that's a very, a very significant piece of Alameda County, Oakland specifically.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to put it out there, though.
Thank you.
That county is actually, that agency has actually reached out to us and asked me, so how could we do this for our fathers here?
Great.
Can I add to that, Kevin?
Absolutely.
So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Father's Corps is the center part of the Alameda County Health Pack consortium, and they are getting money to work on fatherhood services. And so behind the scenes, Kevin, myself, Ignacio, and some others have been working with these health centers around the county to expand their fatherhood work. And what I believe that's Julianne, what she's talking about is a direct benefit of that, right? Sometimes I tell them, don't recreate the wheel. If you know somebody that's doing it, have them bring the wheel over to your spot, right? So yeah, I wish you guys well. And for some of the other programs, I know Hayward Unified, I have a direct connection with Hayward Wellness that's over at the Southland Mall. I've been trying to get them connected to you. La Clinica, not La Clinica, Diversio Vasquez. I've been trying to get them connected to you guys, because the more partnership that you have, the easier it is to get guys in, right? The more partnerships that you have and collaboration as you do, the more your name get out there. So, follow Jillian's example and let's go reach these fathers.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Julie. Get back to our slide. Here's our training calendar for the Fatherhood Partnership. Overview of the protective factors framework next month, best practices for facilitating fathers groups, fathers' role in supporting a child's development, will they come, will they stay, fatherhood outreach and retention. What's available, that's our virtual resource fair that we talked about. So we're going to be bringing in different programs and organizations so that they can share the different services that they offer that could be available to the fathers that you're working with. And also some of these groups can come out and present to your fathers group. So if you are offering fathers groups, some of these groups that we bring in will be able to come to your fathers groups and present on the services they provide. And then you see the understanding and discussing children's social and emotional development. It's a pretty robust training calendar. video didn't work. Any questions about the Fatherhood Partnership before we move on?
Will there be any curriculum given out?
No, we don't do a curriculum for this, Chris. What we do is we use the Protective Fractors framework to help guide the work and as the foundation of the work, and then we use the cafe style. Some of our most successful dad discussions have been when we just put a question out there and gave dads the time to respond to it. Our last dad discussion was the father you are versus the father you want to be, and we just put them in the breakout rooms, and we had some very, very compelling discussion around that. One of our, he's on the line, I'm not gonna out him on who it was, but one of our guys who was on the line said he was literally in the car yelling at his kids when he received his email about the father you are versus the father you want to be. So I thought that was pretty funny. But it's hard, none of us are the dad that we want to be 100% of the time. And it's nice to provide space, and dads appreciate the space to talk about that and not be judged on that. So right now we're going to go to a poll. The purpose of this poll is, number one, to make sure you understand the difference between the Father-Friendly Provider Network, the partnership, and dad discussions, to find out what it is that you want to participate in this year. Is it the partnership? Is it the Father-Friendly Provider Network, dad discussions, or all three? So please remember to respond to this poll, because we're going to use this information to get in touch with you to make sure you are in the right group. Virve or Dara, you can go ahead and launch the poll.
Kevin, I didn't see dad discussions on there, or did I miss it?
You did not miss it. I misspoke. Dad
Okay.
discussions was not on there. A lot of people saying they're going to participate in both. That's great. All right, I think we got 30 people who responded. I think that's a good response rate. We can go ahead and close the poll. Go right back and we're going to go back in the breakout rooms. We want to talk about how you plan to engage, so you can talk about what group you're going to join and why, what has resonated with you today. Also, this isn't a rigid breakout room. So if you want to talk about what resonated with you today, and then what do you want to get out of your participation in the Father's Corps this year? What do you want to get out of it? Some of you are long-standing members. What you're looking to get out of it is going to be a little different than somebody who's just coming to the table for the first time. So I'm looking forward to hearing some of your discussion around how you plan to engage with us this year, and then what are you hoping to get out of it? And another question can be, what has resonated with you today? I think it's 4 people per breakout this time as well.
It's between 3 and 4 people.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and open the room.
All right, thank you. Did we get the questions in the chat? Yes. We're going to give people another minute or so to transition in from the breakouts. Hope you guys had some good discussion. Looks like we got about half the group still needs to come back. It's probably a good sign.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, I'm going to be looking for fathers, well, to replace Otis, but I'm going to be looking for 2 instructors.
Okay.
So,
Let me know.
maybe I'm putting together the JD now.
Okay.
And they'll be on call positions, so dads could already have a regular job. But I'll maybe bring it to the next partnership, or maybe Otis, because he'll be representing at a management level.
Okay, absolutely. I think you guys should definitely we can provide some time for you guys to make an announcement. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys had some good discussion. We've got some time for report out. So if you can, look at that picture, Lamont, classic. If you can spend a little bit of time sharing what you guys talked about how you plan to engage with the Father's Core, what do you want to get out of this year, or what resonated with you today, or what excites you about the work that we're getting into this year. Do we have any volunteers to talk a little bit about what you guys shared? Otis, go ahead.
Yeah, so what we shared was everyone was just really engaged. There's some, most are already doing the work, but the main focus was talking about collaboration and networking together. Tearing down the silos and understanding that if we don't all work together, this is a movement. I don't care how they try to change things. It's a movement, and the only way that we're going to be able to strengthen our strength is to work together. So every time I go into a breakout room, I've been getting numbers and names of people that some have seen me before, but that's what it's all about. It's about collaboration. It's about after you get off this call or this meeting, you start hitting up, making phone numbers, creating relationships, and understanding how we can work together. So that's what we walked away with. And I'm pumped right now. I'm really excited, and you guys are going to see a whole lot more of me. So thank you.
That's great, Otis. Thank you, sir. Harold, looks like you got your hand up.
Yeah, everyone in our group was extremely excited and motivated through the collaboration that we have with the Father's Core and the trainings that we are receiving. And each participant gave the impression that they wanted to participate within both groups. One thing that we were discussing was the possibility of a training of trainers. It was one of our participants who were stating it's a difference once you go and you learn on what to do, but it's a very big difference when you're out there in front of a group trying to facilitate. Mm-hmm. So we were looking at the membership possibly co-facilitating, doing a brief and a debrief after the presentation, just to add that piece for a training of trainers. The other thing is that I realized one of the participants, we work within the same community. So we're going to connect and see how we can work together to try to provide services for fathers and father figures in East Oakland.
Thanks, Harold. Can you say a little bit more about what you mean, what you were looking for with the train the trainer?
Well, and I don't mean to put words into another person's vernacular, but once we are receiving training, in other words, you get the book knowledge. Mm-hmm. But then when you go out there and you're trying to present, it's like, oh, am I doing this correctly? Mm-hmm. How is it coming across? Mm-hmm. Or how do I respond to this situation or this comment coming from a father or a father figure? Mm-hmm. So it's just those skills to develop on how to effectively act as a facilitator and keep the group motivated through their participation and their retention in terms of coming back for a second or third or fourth session.
Okay. So our Fatherhood Partnership is really focused on that. So while the partnership, we're training on these specific topics, like support a father's role in supporting your child's development. That training is framed in a way of how do I facilitate a discussion around a father's role of supporting their child's development with dads. So it's not just about a father's role in supporting their child's development. It's about how do I facilitate a discussion about this topic with a small group of dads. Is that what you are looking for, Harold? That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, that's what was coming out of the
Okay.
group discussion on,
Okay.
you know, not even so much the how-to, but it's like having someone there to sort of assess your skills, to see if you're on point. How is your delivery? How, you know, your ability to read the group, to be able to respond to them appropriately.
Okay, that's helpful. That's helpful. Thank you for that. Yeah.
You know, can I offer some something that we found even in our parent education classes?
Go ahead, Julie.
When it comes to you know, I don't facilitate the men's group, but I know I do facilitate the parent education where there is a lot of men. We now have 49% men who attend our regular parenting classes now, and that's huge.
Yeah.
But one of the things I found myself doing, and that I really am mindful now, is even in class, I used to automatically ask a woman her opinion. Now we begin to normalize asking them, so dads, what do you think? I mean, really paying attention to the fathers in your class and start normalizing that kind of narrative. You know, asking fathers, well, what do you think? You know, or asking for their perspective on something, instead of, and we do it normal. I mean, it's my default to go to a mom. It just is, and I have to be aware of that. So now, if fathers in our classes, at least so you know that they'll sort of sit back, because they're probably accustomed to us asking the moms. You know, so now I make a very intentional effort to say, you know, what do you think, Dad? You know, what do you think about this particular, and how would you, you know, model this, whatever strategy we're working on? The more we do that, you know, throughout, like in a 12-week series, eventually dads will start speaking up. So we have to make that intentional effort to remember that probably all our defaults is to ask the mom. We have to intentionally bring the dads out sometimes. And just because they're quiet doesn't mean they're not thinking.
Great point. Thank you, Julie.
And that they have perspective.
Absolutely. Thanks for those comments, Julie. Eduardo.
Yeah, just to piggy off what Julie said, I think even as a male in the school system, I think we default to that as well. One of my jobs is to call parents and touch base with them, you know, different things. And right now, with the COVID protocols, if a child shows any of the 100 plus symptoms, right, it feels like, of COVID, it's an automatic phone call home. You know, we gotta send them home, and then they either gotta get tested or come back after 10 days of being self-quarantined. And when I'm going down the list and we're given 20, 25 students to call, you know, I think most of us still kind of default to mom because it's usually the first number that pops up. It generates as being the first point of contact. And I think even somebody that facilitates the father program, you know, Cafe Dad, and you know, is really striving to get dads more involved. I think it's just when you're in a time crunch and you're making phone calls, it's like, boom, there goes mom's number. And I think that we want to kind of change that. You know, that's one of the goals I have set in place is now I'm like, well, I'm going to call dad first, you know, let him, and you know, sometimes he answers the phone and they're like, is everything okay? It's like, hey, yeah, we're just calling to let you know, and, oh, okay, well, thank you. You know, we had our first Cafe Dad last week, and a lot of new faces, and you know, they were, you know, really impressed with the presentation and more with, you know, just giving them a platform. You know, they feel welcomed and they're like, man, this is a place I can come to and you know, get advice, just kind of decompress. I had a question, and I'm a facilitator, right? And I'm like, hey guys, I need your advice because my two sons just came up to me and started asking me questions about the question, right? So it's like, Dad, for those of you that have children that have already been past this, and that's what's beautiful about these groups is we have fathers from all ranges, right, in age. So we can come to a group like this, and I have a 9 and a 10-year-old, and another father in the group has children that are teenagers. So they've been where I'm at now. So able to share these stories and just get some feedback as to how they came across that conversation. For me, it was very beneficial. So I think that's what we enjoy doing. The work that we do is we have a platform, and I always tell them this is not our group. It's not me, Abdi, and John. This is your group. We're just here to kind of steer the bus, but we need you. And I walked away with a lot of. I was very confident in the way I was going to approach the conversation due to having this group help me out. So I felt very blessed with doing so. But I agree. I think we need to kind of change that default and put fathers at the top of the list as well, and just have split it up. Hey, if dad didn't answer, call mom, and if just let them know that there's a value in their participation when it comes to the education portion.
Thanks for those comments, Eduardo. You said something right at the end that was really important. That all of it was important, obviously. But you said put dad at the top of the list also.
Right.
It's not about taking mom off the top of the list. It's just putting dad up there with her.
Right.
So I appreciate that comment. Harold, we got time for did you have another comment?
Yeah, just a quick one.
Okay.
As a man to another man, I would like to compliment Eduardo. He said something very unique, which is, and I can tell, obviously he must be an exceptionally good facilitator because he said something along the lines, he's not the expert. He doesn't have all the knowledge. And for a lot of us, it helps us to become more comfortable in that environment, that we're not being talked to in a belittling kind of way or making the assumption we don't already know how to be a good parent. Many of us come just for extra strategies on how to improve what we're doing. So I just want to extend that compliment to Eduardo.
Thanks, Harold.
Thank you. I appreciate that.